Let's fix an 1850s ball gown skirt. Hi everyone, my name is Caitlin, and on this channel I teach old-fashioned sewing skills and we copy original garments. So this is for the Beetlewing dress. We've been embroidering an 1850s ball gown, evening gown, with beetle wings. And so I actually don't know if this really needs a whole lot of work. I know we need to redo hooks and eyes. Actually should probably leave this closed so I can actually get a measurement of the waist. Or I may have to reset the gauging. I don't think I'm going to need to reset the skirt. Okay. Yes, it is 1.5 inches too small. That's not a lot. Okay, we're going to have to redo the entire gauging for 1.5 inches. Not fun, but we'll do it. So yeah, it's going to need to be re-gauged. I'm going to take all of this out of the waistband. Probably iron it. The pleats are already kind of set far apart, so I really just need to set smaller pleats. So I might as well go ahead and completely redo that. I did 3 gauging threads on this. Wow, I was an overachiever back when I made this. Yeah, it should be fairly well balanced. Oh, that's a good question. I need to check. Is it a back closing dress or a front opening dress? It's even all the way around. We might have to rebalance this. And I'm also obviously going to need to iron it. The hem should be fine. Okay, it's not sitting in the absolute best, but that is a functioning facing. There is no pocket in it because it's very obvious through the sheer fabric. But what I think we are going to do is figure out where I can put a slit in the side seam, or an A side seam, and that way I can put a pocket underneath a petticoat and access a pocket that way, because I like pockets. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing today. It shouldn't take terribly long. It's really not that complicated, but it needs to be done, and that way next month we can embroider it. Alright, first step, I have to take out all of this work. It's got to be completely reset to the waist. I might have enough fabric to reuse this waistband, honestly. I'm going to take out all of the gauging threads as well. I did 3 gauging threads for this thing. I went the extra mile. We will not be doing that this time. 2 is what is generally recommended. It is sufficient for our purposes. I also don't think this skirt was very well balanced, because it looks like it's the same length in the front as it is the back, and I know that's not quite right for my body shape, so we're gonna work on that as well. And I also thought about potentially attaching this to the bodice this video, but I think we're gonna wait till later because I don't think I want the bodice hanging off while I'm doing all that embroidery. So I think I'd rather wait to attach the bodice later on. It'll be a lot easier to iron once it's all ungathered anyway, or ungauged. I got 1/3 of it left. Again, we're gonna leave the bottom hemmed the way it is. No reason to disturb that. Alright, now I get to go spend the next however long pressing this thing. Alright, so it's all ironed out. This is the center back. I'm going to balance the skirt, which I have a video on. The simple part is that for most people, their center back and their center front to floor measurements are going to be different just because of the way bodies are shaped. And instead of cutting skirts, we just fold over the top edge. This does 2 things. This makes the skirt even around the hem, which is fantastic, and also it's hard to attach a raw edge to a waistband because that's not very sturdy. That's going to pop out. But if you fold it, that's twice as strong. So I went about 41 inches in the center front, so that is 3 inches off. Instead of cutting it, I'm just going to fold it. Usually at this point it's very helpful to turn the iron on. And I like to keep my center, front, and sides measurements. And for me in the back, I only want 2 inches folded down. So I needed a little bit longer in the back. Now I'm ready for the gauging. And the more I'm thinking about this, I don't think I'm gonna sew this to the, okay, so it was on a waistband, right? There's no reason for it to be on a waistband. There's only one bodice here. There's no day bodice to this, so there's no reason to have it on a separate waistband. It should just be attached to the bodice, which is great, except for the fact I don't want to attach it to the bodice until I get the embroidery done, because that just seems annoying, if that makes sense. So honestly, we're not going to sew this to anything. We're going to leave it completely, I mean, the gauging threads will be done. So you're not going to be able to see me in the skirt, unfortunately, which I'm trying to wrap my head around, because that was the idea, is that of course we would get that part done, but, and I would be able to wear it, but yeah, that's not going to work. So I guess we'll just fold it and talk about it at the end. It's not going to be something super fun. But yeah, that's where I'm at with this. There's a few little spots with stains, like right here. I don't know if you actually saw it on camera, but it's darker. So I'm gonna try soaking some OxyClean and kind of pasting that on, see if that helps. I might try spraying a little bit of diluted bleach on that. But yeah, I feel like there's a little spot here too. It's white. It's gonna get a little dirty, so try to minimize that as much as I can. And then the other thing we're going to do this month is I am going to cut a slit for a pocket. So as soon as I'm done with this, we're going to cut a slit for a pocket. And then when I make my petticoat body, at some point, I'm not entirely sure when, but at some point we're going to make a petticoat body for this. And when we do that, I'll make a slit in that for a pocket, and that way I can wear my pocket underneath my petticoat, because otherwise it would show through on this. Not that I think a pocket's super important for, you know, ball gown. There really isn't a ton that you need to be carrying around. But I want a pocket slit, so we're going to put in a pocket slit. Right now I'm going through trying to make my lines match up. I'm not the greatest at this. I mean, I could go a lot more carefully and actually make sure they match up, but I find that this works more or less. I was also thinking about the hem facing and going, do I really want to embroider over that, or should I have waited on that? Like, should I? I've had a whole video on finishing skirt. Like, now I'm kind of rethinking my schedule that I have going for myself. But I think I might leave the hem facing. But at the same time, if it gets dirty, I'm going to have to take all of that out. But honestly, is this ever going to get dirty? Because I'm probably going to wear it like twice in my entire lifetime. I mean, I guess I can change my mind. I'm going to leave the facing for now. And if I think I need to, I can always take it out before I start embroidering next month. Like, that will take me 5 minutes. It won't be that big of a deal. Alright, pocket. I'm going to go on the right side and make sure my whole hand fits in there. And yes, that really is how I measure for pockets. I forgot that I hand stitched this thing entirely. Not the nicest running stitch ever, but that works. I'm gonna back stitch in that spot for a few times. Make sure that is super secure. And again, we're not inserting a pocket, we're literally just putting the slit there so I can insert my hand. What's going to be tricky is that when I make the petticoat body, I'm going to have to make sure the slits align exactly. And then one more thing for this project before we call it a month. Well, okay, other than the stain removal I got to do, but that's going to happen off camera. Because there's another little part right there. I'm going to take this, fold it over to kind of create a pleat, and I'm going to stitch this down. All this is going to do is just to make sure that my skirt doesn't gape open while I'm wearing it. Alright, there we go. I guess I'm going to fold it and we can talk about it for a few minutes. Alright, there it is. Literally a folded square. So, sorry we're not going to be able to put it on this month. That's just going to have to be how it's going to work since I'm not attaching it to the bodice yet, and we're not going to attach it to a waistband because there's no need if there's only one bodice. I mean, I could do it, but then I just stitch the skirt. It just creates extra bulk. It's annoying and unnecessary, and then the stitching can come out. It's far more efficient just to stitch it directly to the bodice. I ended up not doing the stain removal yet because I figured as I'm doing the embroidery, I could mark the spots with like pins. That way I could be sure to catch all of them, and also if any more staining happens after or during the embroidery process, that I can get it all at once. So it's still all kind of stained a little bit, but it's just like little bits. There's like 2 spots near the top, which is going to be the most noticeable because once I gather these spits, anything that's slightly stained, you're going to really be able to tell once all of this fabric is bunched together. Just out in the skirt, it's not quite as noticeable, but it's very noticeable up there. And so, yeah, that's just going to have to be something we'll work on a little bit later. But anyway, that was a fairly short video, and at least we have it prepped now so that whenever we get the embroidery done, we can just easily attach it to the bodice edge. So it's not as finished as I would like it to be, but given the fact I don't want to put any undue stress on the bodice or anything like that, I don't want to sew it on there yet. So bodice is actually right next to me. So we have parts done. It's getting there. So next month, again, we get to start on the skirt embroidery. I think we're going to start on the center panel is what I have written down. So I'm going to basically have to design this thing out at some point, probably next month, and then start working on it. I think we're going to work top down and then around the skirt makes more sense to me. We'll see how that all goes. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe to the channel, click that little bell notification so you're notified anytime I upload a new video. And as always, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you back here in the next video.